Good day and welcome to Sports Paradise. I'm Dub, short for Big Dub, and remember, if you have to present something, whether it be for school, for work, if you're going to propose to your girlfriend or something, always be prepared. You don't want to get there and start looking like a fool in front of everybody or your wife, potential wife. So just be prepared because then you're going to be taking a big fat L. So today's Monday. I hope everyone had a good weekend. Today is also the eclipse, the total solar eclipse. Here in Toronto, it's not going to be that great, and it's cloudy, second of all. So maybe I'll see it in my next life. But I'll see pictures and whatnot. Anyways, today we're going to talk about Chelsea and the weekend of football that just passed. The Champions League starts back tomorrow, finally. We'll talk about the Formula One Grand Prix in Japan. The Monte Carlo Masters are taking place. And we'll talk about MLB, NHL, and NBA. Then we'll wrap it up with some of my fantasy sports updates. See how that went over the weekend and last week. Okay, so Chelsea. Where do I even start? Well, first of all, my last video of me reacting to the Chelsea win, the 4-3 win against Manchester United, that video was not allowed to be on YouTube because of some copyright, because I posted the video of Cole Palmer's massive goal, his hat-trick goal, and YouTube said, nah, you can't post it. I tried disputing it and they still said no. I'm like, okay, so you couldn't see that, but I guess you will see my reaction to them tying the last place team in the Premier League, Sheffield. I don't understand. Chelsea was up 1-0 off a corner kick. Well, Thiago Silva finally starting again. He was on the bench for a bit. And of course, he has a specialty of scoring goals off corner kicks, whether it be headers, whether it be like yesterday, he kicked it in from about like 6-7 yards out off a Gallagher corner. That's his specialty. And for him to be on the bench for this long, considering all the defensive mistakes that we've been making, it's kind of ridiculous now that you think about it. But he scored first, making it 1-0 for Chelsea. And because we can't go a game without having any stress, without having any consternation, the last place team, Sheffield, had to score, make it 1-1. So, on the road at Sheffield's home base, it was tied 1-1. Chelsea running around, trying their best, not really doing anything of value. Halftime came, second half started, and it was more of the same. I was watching it like, are they gonna really score only one goal? Are they gonna really potentially lose this game because Chelsea's been giving up goals, like no matter what, at least 2 goals per game for the most part of the season. They've been giving up 2 goals, so if they can't score one more goal, they're probably gonna lose to the last place team, who's probably gonna get relegated back to the championship. But Noni Madueke, he started for us for once. Mujic was on the bench due to him being, I guess, tired. We have some big games coming up this week. But Madueke started. And he's good. When he wants to be good, he's good. He was driving down the wing. He went inside the box and he blasted the ball right past the goalkeeper. It was a great goal. It had the power, it had the accuracy, and goaltender couldn't even move. But I gotta say, it was looking good. You never know. I mean, first of all, against a team like Sheffield, we're supposed to score more than 2 goals. Not supposed to be struggling like this. It should be 2-0 after the first half. Second half, by the end, it should be at least 4. You know? So even though it was 2-1, I thought we were safe. But I should have known, of course. It was 2-1. Time was running out. And Pochettino, as usual, makes questionable substitutions. But I thought we were going to be okay. First of all, Cole Palmer came out, and I was kind of questioning that. No more offense, putting in, like, I guess, fresher legs. Of course, that's his thought, but it's not. Cole Palmer is the best player on the pitch for any team by a landslide, and he took him off. Carney Chukwuemeka has been okay, but he's not hasn't been better than Cole Palmer. Raheem Sterling, I believe, came on, wasn't doing that well either. But what took the cake? What took the cake was this. Badiashile, Benoit Badiashile. He's been making mistakes. He's cost us goals against Man United. If you saw my video about that, which is, like I said, wasn't allowed to go up. If you saw that video, you'd have seen me saying, this guy, he makes too many mistakes. Game after game after game, he makes mistakes. And the defense is obviously a major spot in the lineup. So Benoit Badiashile, Poch put him in with around maybe like 3 minutes into extra time. Poch put him in just as they're going to get a free kick. So the scenario was that Sheffield going to get a free kick from beyond the halfway mark, and then they're all lined up around Chelsea's goalkeeper, around like Petrovic ways. And I was thinking, man, like, he's coming in the game, but there's no way that with so little time to go, there's no way he can make a mistake that's cost us 3 points. There's no way. Sheffield's goalie takes the free kick. The ball bounces around. But Badiashile, he missed, like, he's like 6 foot something, and he missed a header. The Sheffield player headed it towards like Petrovic. And then pretty much like a 5-yard breakaway, you see Badiashile running behind the guy, and it scores 2-2 just like that. And I'm like, wow, I was proven wrong. Benoit Badiashile could cost us the game in around 2 minutes of playing time. So that was disappointing, to say the least, because we could have been at least approaching 6th spot in the Premier League, maybe 5th, but that'll be tough. But 6th is definitely in sight if you can win. But like we can't score, and we keep on conceding goals. So maybe just like draws are the best we can do. The next game is against Everton, where Everton, I believe, has already beaten us this season. And they keep getting points reduced from them for some, I'm not sure the exact reason, but they keep getting points taken away from them. So they're going to be facing Chelsea with the utmost, like, rage, just wanting to win. And poor Chelsea's just going to be like, wow, like, we're not prepared for this as usual, and probably end up losing the game. And then we have the FA Cup semi-final matchup against Man City. So potentially in 2 games, or in the span of 1 week, 2 games, they could be both losses. And they could be both embarrassing losses. They could be both fireable offense losses for Poch. Because at the end of the day, the players have been making mistakes, but the lineups, the structure, the players he chooses to play, they haven't been very good. I understand the cost you paid for Caicedo, for example, for Raheem Sterling, but you gotta at least try something new at some point, a new formation, new players to try to score, to try to play defense, to try to hustle. But it's just not happening. So that's Chelsea's story. I believe right now they're 9th in the Premier League, which is, higher than 10th, which is what they've been for the past 2 seasons. But like I said, no wins. 1 point, can't have that. 3 points is what we need. So after an exciting weekend, besides Chelsea, we saw that Arsenal won their game pretty handedly. They don't allow goals, and they score a bunch of goals. They're now tied for the most points in the Premier League with Liverpool, because Liverpool, they were facing Man United yesterday and they tied them. They were dominating, but they couldn't score, and United scored two great goals. Bruno Fernandes scored it from around halfway mark, as if he's Caitlin Clark. And Kobe Mainu, he scored like a laser of a goal too, and that was like a turnaround, bam, right in the corner, just evaded the goalie's glove. That was a great goal, but those are like incredibly lucky goals. Like it takes a great amount of skill to score those, and Liverpool had the chances to score at least 4 goals, but they couldn't finish them. So it was just disappointing for them, especially with the pressure on the line of if they don't win this game, they're going to lose their spot in first place, and that's what happened. Arsenal is now first place, even though they're tied with 71 points because they have a better goal differential than Liverpool. Second place right now third place, is Man City with 70 points, and they're continuing to win their games. They have like FA Cup matchup coming up. They have their Premier League match or their Champions League match coming up. So they have a lot to focus on besides the Premier League. But we saw last year, didn't really matter. They won a treble, FA Cup, Champions League, and Premier League. They won that. So I believe Man City is pretty comfortable right now. I don't see them losing. And based off the strength of schedule, it seems that Liverpool, they might not lose again, but they could draw. They're facing Tottenham, and that seems like their toughest game, but they could draw that. Maybe I'm being biased because I guess I want City to win. I want City to win the league. Arsenal, they have to face Aston Villa and they have to face Chelsea. And we all know Chelsea shows up against the greatest teams, but they are very mid against the low teams. Chelsea already tied Arsenal this season when, of course, they could have won, but they gave up a late goal. So that's Chelsea. So at the most, I expect Chelsea to come out there and at least give a good effort and maybe tie them, but it's going to be a tough game for Arsenal. And lastly, Man City probably has the easiest schedule. Their toughest game seems to be just against Tottenham, but like I said, they have to focus on the FA Cup and they have to focus on Champions League where they're facing Real Madrid. So that's going to be like major focus. But like I also said, they won a treble last season, and if anything, they've just been getting better because now Phil Foden is emerging as a player who's just the best. Erling Haaland, De Bruyne, Grealish, Bruno not Bruno Fernandes, but the guy who looks like him, at least on Man City. But yeah, so it's gonna be a very great race in the Premier League to see what happens. It's gonna come down to the last weekend, it seems like, and maybe it's gonna be a Man City again for the 4th straight year. But winning 4 straight Premier Leagues is unheard of, and they hope to do that. Imagine they win back-to-back trebles like Man City, like early 2024, 2023, when Erling Haaland was out, when Foden was just like getting warmed up. It seemed like there was some concern for them, but as you can see, they kept on winning. They had some, blunders against Chelsea. Like I said, Chelsea at least shows up for the big games, but besides that, they've just been comfortable, even though they have been struggling a bit this season. So now they're on cruise control, it seems like. So this week, the Champions League is finally back. We've been waiting around a month or so since the quarterfinal draws came out, and we saw the matchups, and it's finally back this week. Tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So just a reminder, the matchups are Arsenal versus Bayern, Man City versus Real Madrid, and those are tomorrow. And on Wednesday is PSG, Paris Saint-Germain versus Barcelona, and Atletico Madrid versus Dortmund. So all these matchups should be quite entertaining. I mean, the most boring one, or the most like the one with the, I guess, the least popular teams are Atletico and Dortmund. But based on just entertainment, they should perform quite well. Dortmund, they don't allow too many goals, and they score their own share of goals here and there. They have some good players on offense like Adeyemi, Marlon, Brandt, and solid defense and a great goalie. They added oh, now I forgot his name. It's been so long, from Chelsea. Oh man, it's been so long, but I forgot his name. The the right back from Chelsea, Ian Matson, that's his name. They got him, and he's been doing quite well for him. Their goalie Kobel, and I hope they can win that game. Like I said in previous episodes, I'm a fan of German teams, so hopefully they can win. But tomorrow's matchups, Arsenal versus Bayern, that's going to be a fantastic matchup to watch because Arsenal hasn't really gone far in Champions League. They haven't even won a Champions League. And Bayern has been struggling all season long. They got beat in their last Bundesliga match. I think that's now 2 losses in a row that they've lost. And Arsenal, they're trying to not be kind of choke jobs, because going into this, you feel like Arsenal has the advantage just based on their form. They're in tremendous form, scoring goals, not conceding goals. But Bayern probably just wants to show out for their pride, like I said, when they're almost going to lose the last matchup they played. And they have great players: Harry Kane, Manuel Neuer, Thomas Muller, De Ligt, Alphonso Davies. So they can come out and surprise just based off skill, even though they don't really have, like, the coach, Thomas Tuchel. He's getting fired at the end of the season because this season has been a total disaster for himself, Harry Kane, etc. So the first matchups are tomorrow, the first legs, and Arsenal versus Bayern. I'm gonna say that Arsenal's gonna win this matchup, and I'll probably say they're gonna win the leg. I should probably update my bracket because I'm pretty sure I picked Bayern to win, but I feel like Arsenal just has it all going for them at the moment, so they're probably gonna take it. Tomorrow's blockbuster matchup, the two best teams, I feel, Man City versus Real Madrid. Unfortunately, they're playing in the quarterfinals. It's like when LSU was playing Iowa women's basketball in the Elite Eight. I'm like, wanted it to be like at least a Final Four championship matchup. So that was not ideal for UEFA to do that, just like last year. So if Man City makes it, it's probably going to be like a simple team they have to face. Not like any team here is simple, but Real Madrid is probably the best team besides Man City, and now it's going to be only in the quarterfinals, not even the semifinals or the finals. I think Man City is going to win that leg too, because they're just stacked from top to bottom. Real Madrid has shown signs of struggling this year versus like every team, especially they're kind of put to the edge against their last Champions League match when they barely moved on. And Man City just cruising. It seems the only time Man City struggles is when they're playing Chelsea. So I believe they're gonna, I wouldn't say easily win. It might be a blowout. It might be a blowout, but we'll see. On Wednesday, PSG versus Barcelona. I'd like to see Paris Saint-Germain win that. I love Kylian Mbappe. He's one of the best players in the world. Can score from anywhere. Can create his own goals. Unlike some players, so I hope he can stop choking I hope PSG can stop choking and go past Barcelona, who's kind of had a disappointing season and didn't have as many, like, didn't have like a Kylian Mbappe on the team. They don't have players who have been in this moment before, who have suffered before. Maybe they have. I don't know the exact roster, but PSG, it just seems like same as Bayern. This is Thomas Tuchel's last year. This is PSG's last year with Kylian Mbappe, so he's probably gonna want to go out and have extra motivation to win. At least build a big lead at home and then try to defend it when you go to Spain. And then, like I said, Dortmund versus Atletico also on Wednesday. I said, I'm not a fan of Spanish teams. I like Real Madrid because, like I said before, they're like a world team. They have Bellingham, but Barcelona, Atletico, I'm not really fans of. So I hope Dortmund can win that, and I believe they could. Atletico, they kind of got past their last round and kind of lucky they weren't expected to win. So Dortmund, they got past, rather smoothly, because that was more like an even matchup with their last legs. So I hope they can use their Bundesliga success momentum and carry on to the Champions League and maybe get a W. So over the weekend, late night, it was the Japanese Grand Prix. Took place at Suzuka, one of the most iconic tracks in Formula One. High speed, expected red flag, safety cars, and that's what we got. We got safety cars, red flag, but I guess not the excitement. There were some brief moments of excitement, but for the most part, Max won by 18 seconds. Checo came second place by around 8 seconds, and Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc third and fourth. It wasn't really close. It wasn't really stiff competition for those guys on top, but it was exciting. The first lap, Alex Albon and Daniel Ricciardo, they hit each other and they both spun out into the barriers and were out of the race after the second lap. And now I'm afraid to post clips because it's probably gonna say copyright, but it seemed like that was Ricciardo's fault. Albon, I would say, is like a, as far as drivers go, I guess you would say he's like a defensive driver, and Ricciardo, he's kind of been not on top of his game as of late, and I feel like that could have been avoided if Ricciardo was more aware of his surroundings. And yeah, it happens though. It wasn't like it was malicious, but it happens, and he could have done better to avoid that. And poor Albon, he's out of the race. He could have potentially, done pretty well for his team, even though Williams didn't really collect points. So, like I said, first two were Max and Checo. Third was Carlos Sainz, and Charles Leclerc won Driver of the Day, but that was because he had a great first stint on the medium tires, and he took a long time to pit. But maybe if there was like a revote, it would have been gone to Carlos Sainz because Carlos Sainz ended up overtaking him. I'm not sure what the scenario was. Maybe he had fresher tires. I don't know, but Carlos Sainz won the last race, and he's had more success this season than Charles Leclerc, and maybe Carlos Sainz has a bit of motivation, extra oomph in his driving and his gas pedal, because he has no job and is pretty much all this season is like an audition for his next job. So maybe that's why he's doing quite well. I don't know, but Charles Leclerc, fourth place, might get used to that this season because it doesn't seem like Max and Red Bull are slowing down anytime soon. And if Checo or if Sainz is a better driver than Charles Leclerc, then that's just the reality. But hopefully, maybe at Monaco, Charles Leclerc can get pole. Maybe he can win that or do pretty well at Monaco's home race. McLaren, they done pretty well this race so far this season too. Lando, he started third, but he ended up dropping a bit. Maybe I think he ended up fifth, and Piastri, I believe, was like eighth, and Aston Martin, Fernando Alonso did pretty well, and you got poor Mercedes, George Russell, and Lewis Hamilton just struggling in their slow car, getting past, getting overtaken, not being able to overtake, even though they have DRS, etc. And it just breaks my heart because back in the day, that situation, they would have passed them easily. And now you're seeing it still with Ferraris, with McLaren, with Red Bull. They're just blown by teams like Mercedes used to do. And yeah, I guess it's the end of an era. It was as soon as that Abu Dhabi 2021 event happened, but it's just official. And Lewis Hamilton is leaving Mercedes, going to Ferrari next season, and hopefully they can have a winning car by that time. If this year is any indication to that, I'm confident. Like I said, Sainz has won a race, and Charles is, consistently almost getting the podium. So just hopefully next year, like if this is Red Bull, maybe Ferrari is like right here, right now. Maybe by next year it'd be a bit more balanced, and going further, like 2026, we'll see how Ferrari is. But we'll see how many World Championship Max is gonna win, because right now he's gonna be at 4 if he wins this season, which he very well should win this season, unless some sort of disaster happens, some sort of chaotic thing with Red Bull happen where the car just breaks down for the entire rest of the season. But hey, Formula One was kind of boring when Lewis was winning, and then we had that 2021 World Championship drama. And then now it's kind of boring again when Max is winning all the races. But that's the sport. So the Monte Carlo Masters take place today. That's the beginning of the clay season for our tennis pals. The top 5 seeds at the Monte Carlo are Djokovic, Yannick Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz, Daniil Medvedev, and Zverev. And because it's in Monte Carlo, Monaco, South of France ways, you're going to have to wake up early to watch all the matches, or to watch like the early matches. But as it gets to the quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, it should be on at a decent time for us East Coasters, which should be good for us to watch. There isn't much American or Canadian representation in this Monte Carlo. Not sure why. Felix Auger-Aliassime, he won today. Good for him. Not so good as that his next matchup is against Carlos Alcaraz. So that's going to be a fun match to watch, and Alcaraz should win that rather easily. Too bad for the Canadians. And like I said, not many Americans either. Taylor Fritz, he's already out. Like, he lost yesterday. And Tiafoe and Ben Shelton, they played a tournament in Texas. They played a clay tournament in Texas, where Tiafoe and Shelton, they matched up in the championship, and Ben Shelton won that. The only thing about that championship, I guess it's good to have a winning feeling no matter what, but that was only a 250. That was like the lowest of the championship professional levels, like 250, 500, 1000, Grand Slam. So, and in the Grand Slams and the 1000s, they get eliminated rather early, don't do as well as they can. So in the 250s, when everyone is focusing on, they're at Monte Carlo, in a 1000, they're winning ATP 250s, which is you always want to win, but I don't know. Like, wouldn't that be a waste of time to professionals who have hopes of winning Grand Slams? Like 250 it's like for people who are just coming up, like not major players. Ben Shelton, Tiafoe, they got to be focused on winning at least a 500 or 1,000, let alone a Grand Slam. Like, it's almost as if a 250 would be too easy for them. And no wonder that they met each other in the final round, and Shelton won that. But hey, a win is a win, like I always say. So, the Monte Carlo Masters tournament only lasts for 1 week, so it's going to end on Sunday. The final is going to be on a Sunday. There was qualifying for that tournament, and now it started at the round of 64. So 64, 32, 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. Going to be in 1 week. They're probably going to be playing every day. A lot of tennis going on to prepare for Roland Garros in France this year, as always. So, just because Alcaraz, like, he won Indian Wells, but he lost Miami. That was hard court. Now clay court, I think that's like a Djokovic special, but I don't know. Maybe we're seeing the decline of Djokovic because, I mean, I'm not proud to say it. I'm not happy to say it. I'm not preying on his downfall, of course. I would pick him to win if it was like any other year, if it was like last year even, but like he got out in Australian Open. Not early, but not what he's used to, you know? And at Indian Wells, he made it pretty far. You know, not by his standards, because he got eliminated early again by an unranked seed, Luca Nardi, who they were all calling the lucky loser, but Luca Nardi won that game. And Djokovic didn't play in Miami either, so he's had a few weeks to prepare for Monte Carlo. So he could come out and do well, but I don't know. Maybe the young guys are coming to get him. So I predict that Carlos Alcaraz will win that. We'll see how far Sinner gets. He has some time to rest after winning Miami, and I'm not quite sure how he does on clay. But I have a feeling that Alcaraz is going to be doing quite well on clay. So I think he'll win. The women's don't have a 1,000 on Monte Carlo. It's just the men's singles and doubles. But I believe the next women's 1,000 is going to be in Germany. And that's going to be their preview, their warm-up before Roland Garros starts. On to the MLB. So after showing some mediocre efforts against the Rays, against the Houston Astros, the Blue Jays continue to show mediocre efforts at Yankee Stadium this weekend. They lost 2 of 3. They won the first matchup, and then they lost the second 2 to the Yankees. What can I say? The star players have not been playing like the stars they should be, which, you know, is surprising, but also not surprising. They can't hit with runners in scoring position. Like back-to-back games, George Springer started with a double, and he was left on base. Like they couldn't even score 1 run in the first inning, which is kind of disappointing. It's kind of demoralizing. It's just demoralizing for the team, for the fans, for everybody watching, except the opposition, of course. When you have a guy on second, nobody out, you can't score. You have like second and third, you can't score. You have like at the corner, you can't score. The utility players, they're getting on base, they're getting hits, they're getting Tommy home runs. When they got on base though, the top of the lineup, they either walk or just get a single. Like no real RBI, no run scored. Vladdy hit a home run when they were down by 7. And I mean, he always does his celebration, his shushing celebration. But that was like his second home run and just his like second RBI of the season. And I don't know. I guess that's his ritual. You gotta always do it, but do it more often then. You know, do it more often. Not just once in a while when you're batting 100 with 11 strikeouts, 7 walks, you know. The best players have been like Clement, like David Schneider, like Justin Turner. They've been 3 out of the 9 people in the batting lineup, it's only been like 3 people who you can be like, oh, maybe they'll get a hit. George Springer's been coming along. He's been getting a hit. Bo's been a bit quiet, but he got a hit last game, but a hit. Come on, get like 2-3 hits in the game. Get some timely hits. Get your average up. It's just sad to see. But even this weekend though, Yankee Stadium, the pitching was kind of off. Kikuchi pitched the best, but well, there's really no buts. He pitched the best. He went only 5 innings because his pitch count was up, but he only allowed I think 1 run, and then the Jays ended up winning that game. But Gosman, he got a bit rocked, and then Bowden Francis got exceptionally rocked. But they say they say it was because of the cold that happened, that like Gosman's velocity was down, like Bowden Francis couldn't hit the strike zone because of the cold. But I don't know, the Jays hitters seem to be the Yankees pitchers were doing pretty well compared to the Jays pitchers, and the hitters on either side couldn't take advantage, or the Jays hitters couldn't take advantage of sloppy Yankees pitching if there was. But because like over the weekend, the Yankees, they walked a lot of batters, but like I said, the Jays just couldn't bring them in, and that's been a story since last season. Since April last season, that's been a story. And watching, you'd think, oh, maybe they'd pick it up over the course of time, or they have to pick it up over the course of time, or they have to. You guys are too good to not do that. And last year didn't work. This year, same thing to start. I have no faith in their offense, sadly. So tonight they're starting a series against the Seattle Mariners, and today is their home opener. The thing about that is that they're facing Luis Castillo, who's a fantastic pitcher. So maybe they'll have some motivation to win that game, but if Castillo's on his game, it's going to be hard to win. And we'll see what happens. I believe maybe Berrios is pitching tonight. So it should be a low-scoring game, I believe, unless the Jays pull off a miracle, or unless Jose Berrios chokes. But as far as winning the series goes, Seattle has great pitching, and the Jays don't have great hitting. So I believe, Jays are in for another mediocre showing. Probably going to win 1, lose 2 at home. The new Rogers Center, they're always bragging about that they're spending money on, but not on free agent talents. But good. We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll win. Maybe they'll sweep. Maybe they win 2 of 3. But as far as the season is going so far, I do not have any faith in them. So we're still a bit early to see how predictions are doing, but so far the Braves and Dodgers are doing as expected quite well. Sad news to say though is that Spencer Strider, he left his last start. He was struggling his last start, and then he left it early. And then after the start, he said he felt some elbow discomfort. MRIs came back, and he has some damage to his UCL. So he's either going to be out for a very long time, or have Tommy John surgery, where he's going to be out for the entire season, plus the playoffs, of course. So that's devastating news to the Atlanta Braves. The Dodgers are getting great play everywhere. I feel like Shohei, he kind of got off to a slow start, but now he's back. Now he's hitting like he should be hitting. Get some RBI, some runs scored, a few home runs. The Yankees and I guess the Guardians too, and the Pittsburgh Pirates, they've been quite a surprise this season. I'm not sure if the Pirates can keep it up, because I feel like they've had some good starts over the past few years, but they're still a young team. Don't have like consistent pitching, although they have their top prospect Paul Skeens coming up pretty soon, maybe by the end of this month or next month. But the Pirates are 8-2. Texas Rangers, they're doing quite well, and the Miami Marlins avoided going 0-10 by winning yesterday. Now they're 1-9. So I thought they would at least be decent, but hey, it's just a start. They can go on a nice run, but they're not that good. It seems like just like the White Sox, Kansas City Royals, Colorado Rockies, just terrible team. But at least they know they're terrible. You know, like the Blue Jays, they're supposed to be good, and they're playing like they're just the worst team in the league. Like their hitting is just embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. Ay ay ay. So Mookie Betts and Tyler O'Neill lead with 5 home runs, and ex Blue Jay, who's now thriving, he has 14 RBI, leading the league in that. Ex Blue Jay Gurriel Jr. on the Diamondbacks, he's been doing quite well himself. Few home runs, few RBI, and Arizona, they're kind of on a losing streak a bit, but just 4-6, not that bad. I guess same with the Blue Jays, but I don't know. It's not like the Jays went to the World Series last year. So we'll see how the MLB week goes. We'll see what happens with the Jays and any other big news from star players. I guess I'll update my MVP and my awards predictions at the end of the month. I can do monthly reviews of that to see how it's going. It seems like Strider is not going to be part of that because he's going to be out for a long time. So my Cy Young candidate for the NL is washed. So yeah, that happens. But at least I wasn't like wrong. I guess even though he wasn't pitching well to begin with, at least like I wasn't like wrong about that. But we'll see what happens. On to the NHL. On the weekend, the Leafs finally got Mitch Marner back, and they beat the Canadiens, rather handily, 4-2. Before that game, they secured a playoff spot, so as expected, they guaranteed to be in the playoffs. Now it's just to see who they're going to face, Boston or Florida. We'll see. Against Montreal, Austin Matthews scored his 64th goal, and he got his 100th point, so he's, of course, had a very impressive season. You've heard me say multiple times that Ovi's the best, etc., etc. But Austin Matthews is right there this season. 65, if he doesn't get 65 goals, it's going to be like a choke, obviously. 70 goals probably will also be a choke. The thing, though, is that this weekend, Ovechkin scored his 850 and 851st goals. And I got to say, he's only had one 60-goal season. And out of people who've had multiple 60-goal seasons, like Austin Matthews, for example, Ovi is the only one who has 850 plus goals, of course, besides Wayne Gretzky. So we'll see how Austin Matthews does in his career. Maybe he can get 60 goals again next season or season after that. But what matters is the playoffs and scoring in the playoffs, which we're going to see this year. So the Leafs have 6 more games. Tonight they're facing the Pittsburgh Penguins, and that's going to be a tough game to win because the Penguins are on a mission to make the playoffs. They've been on a hot streak as of late. Crosby, Malkin, Michael Bunting coming to face his ex-team, so they're going to have some motivation, plus trying to make the playoffs. So when Matthews scored tonight, it's going to be tough to see. Hopefully he does. But the Capitals, when I started Sports Paradise, I believe the Capitals were like on a 4-game, 5-game winning streak. Like they were winning games, and now they're on a 6-game losing streak at the worst possible time. They lost even yesterday to the Ottawa Senators. They're on like Ovi scored. No, he didn't even score last night, but they're on a 6-game losing streak. They're tight. Like they're down by 1 point to make the wild card spot, the last wild card spot, the last place in the Metropolitan Division is right there. But how are they losing at this time? It's just not good. It's just stressing me out. Like I don't want to see them lose like that. Like at least win games, not go out losing 6 straight. It's unbelievable. So they need to at least. They have 5 games to go, and they gotta start to win some games, obviously, or else they're gonna be not in the playoffs. Which, considering the place they were in a few weeks ago, is gonna be sad. So speaking of playoffs, the race is tight, as you know. The New York Islanders are in third place in the Metropolitan Division, and the Red Wings are second wildcard spot. The first is Tampa Bay, but they're already locked up. They're safe, 93 points. So behind them are the Penguins, who has 83 points. The Capitals also 83 points, and the Flyers, who have 82 points. And right now, the hottest team of them is the Pittsburgh Penguins. So hopefully, the Leafs can win tonight and, halt their progress on making the playoffs. But it's up to the Caps, honestly, up to the Caps to win. And yeah, the Western Conference hasn't been officially clinched by the last wildcard team, like the Kings and Knights, but Minnesota, St. Louis, they're pretty much out of it. I don't see them, winning enough games to make a difference, especially with around 5-6 games left for those teams. So it's just going to be down to playoff matchups pretty soon, and maybe by the end of this week we have more clarity on what's going to happen, and then we'll go into the playoffs, and we'll see. We shall see. So the points race, everyone knows that Austin Matthews leading in goals, has 64, but the points are a different story. Nikita Kucherov has 136 points, but Tampa Bay is just a wild card team. They have a good season, but they're only a wild card team. McKinnon, 133 points. Colorado is a great team. They've been consistent all season long, and McKinnon has been leading the charge along with his sidekick, Cale Makar, and a lot of other good players too, of course. And McDavid has 130 points. One more assist until 100. He's at 99 right now. Everyone knows Edmonton had to fire their coach. They got off to an extremely slow start, and so did Connor McDavid. He's just been on a tear, like post, firing the coach. But during that time, McKinnon was consistently putting up points, goals, assists, winning games. So I'm still going with McKinnon as an MVP. In the NBA, the Toronto Raptors, 2-game winning streak. Incredible, eh? After losing 15 straight. Oh man, if you saw my video that got disallowed because of copyright, you would have seen that I'm like, can the Raptors really face? I mean, I was like, the Bucks are they're struggling right now. They lost to the Wizards, lost to all these lame teams, but the Raptors, they gotta beat the Raptors, right? Like the Raptors are on a 15-game losing streak. Like I want the Raptors to win, of course, but I'm like, it's too good to be true. So I'm like, imagine the Raptors win, and that wasn't even a reverse jinx, but yeah, the Raptors won that game against the Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks, second place in the Eastern Conference. The Raptors ended their 15-game losing streak against them. So the Raptors, Detroit Pistons early on in the season were on like a 25-game losing streak, and they lost to they beat the Raptors to end that streak, and now the Raptors ended their streak against like a good team. And I mean, granted, there was no Giannis playing; it was just Dame, but the Bucks are supposed to be like much better than the Raptors. So good for the Raptors for showing some heart and winning that game. And then yesterday they beat the Wizards rather handedly. R.J. Barrett, Isaiah Quickly, Kelly Olynyk. That seems to be a budding core, just not full of superstars. But they beat the Wizards like they should have, and 2-game winning streak. Good for them. I don't know what their future holds, but I'm glad they're not on a 17-game losing streak, which they very well could have been. So the playoff battles in the Eastern Conference are still very tight. Of course, Celtics have it locked up, but seeds 2 through 8, like from the Bucks down to the Miami Heat, they're only separated by 4 games. And it's kind of late to say that the Bucks are gonna, obviously choke away their lead and be in a play-in tournament, or that the Miami Heat's gonna like get out of the play-in tournament and go up in the Eastern Conference, because there's not that many games left. But it's quite close. It's quite close. The Magic, the Knicks, and the Cavs, the Cavs are on a 3-game losing streak. They could very well catch the Milwaukee Bucks. They're only 1 game back of them. But the Pacers are 1 game back of the Cavs. That's like 2 games back of Milwaukee. Quick maths. And the Sixers, they've won 5 straight since Embiid has returned to the lineup, and they're trying to avoid the play-in tournament. And the Miami Heat, they are probably gonna hang on to the play-in tournament spot unless they go on a run. But I don't expect that. I expect them to win the play-in tournament and then try to wreak havoc as they usually do in the playoffs. The Western Conference, ex-Raptor and company, Fred VanVleet and the Houston Rockets, they tried their best this season to make the playoffs. They got off to a hard start, but it's tough in the Western Conference, and they don't have that much experience to maintain their abilities. They don't have that much star players to keep winning games. So over the weekend, they were officially eliminated from the playoffs. Golden State, they can breathe rather easily now. They're going to hold on to the 10th place. Pelicans, Kings, Lakers are 7th, 8th, 9th, respectively. The Lakers are 1.5 games up on the Golden State Warriors, so I believe that's going to stay the way it is. The only thing is that it's kind of tight between 7th and 6th. Like the Suns are 6th spot, but they have the same record as the Pelicans. Hopefully the Suns don't have to be in a play-in tournament because I don't want them to face like Golden State or the Lakers, because that could be a tough matchup to win. And as you all know, I like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, so I want them to have a bit of a break before the actual playoffs start. And honestly, I don't think that the Western Conference will change so much. I think the Suns will either keep 5th or, I think the Suns will keep on being 6th or drop to 7th. Pelicans 6th, Suns 7th, Suns 6th, Pelicans 7th, that sort of thing until the season ends. But the Mavericks, I think, will continue to be 5th place. The Clippers should be 4th place, and the Thunder, Nuggets, Wolves all fighting for first place. Wolves still winning games. Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert doing quite well for them. They have I keep hearing about this Nas Reed, and he's also been a key major part of their lineup. And Nuggets, you know about the Nuggets, Jamal Murray, MVP, Nikola Jokic. And then the Thunder, they've been a solid team all season long, and that should help them. But they've been losing more than they've been winning a bit these days, so they might not be first. It might be Nuggets first, Wolves second, Thunder third, but we'll see how it ends. Not too many games left, but we'll see. So the MVP debate, it seems to be over. It seems like it's going to be Nikola Jokic for the 3rd straight season. He's the best player in the league, and Denver Nuggets are the best team in the league besides Celtics, but Celtics kind of have some weird losses this year. And the Celtics are also stacked, like more stacked than the Denver Nuggets, and the Celtics also play in a much weaker conference, much weaker. So, MVP debates, it's kind of wrapped up, Jokic, but it's too bad that Embiid was out for almost 30, 20, I don't know how many games he was out for, but for a few months he was out, and the Sixers dropped from 2nd place in the Eastern Conference to now in the play-in tournament. And since Embiid has come back, they won 4 straight, total of 5 straight, and the Sixers aren't as stacked as the Celtics are, so Embiid would have definitely been an MVP candidate over Jason Tatum. So too bad for that. But honestly, I don't mind the rule of having to play a certain amount of games to be considered for MVP, because load management is a serious problem. It is. But while Jokic will probably win MVP, I don't think it's going to be unanimous. Shea's going to get his votes. Tatum's going to get votes. Anthony Edwards and Luka Doncic will also get votes. So we'll see how it goes. Today, Monday, April 8th, the NBA is off. But tomorrow, there are some big games. The Boston Celtics versus Milwaukee Bucks. The Thunder versus the Kings. Golden State Warriors versus the Lakers. And the Phoenix Suns versus the Clippers. So that should be a few entertaining games. Obviously, some more playoff teams are playing tomorrow, but these are like when there's good teams playing good teams. So we'll see what the results are at the end of the week and see how the playoffs are looking for all these teams. So on to some fantasy sports. My MLB teams, my NBA teams, my NHL teams were all in action last week, and we're going to look at the results. So we'll start with my MLB team. This fantasy league, Toronto Blue Jays, part of one of the major dynasty leagues that I'm in. My team is 0-2. As you can see, last week I lost 14-5-1. Pretty, got my butt whooped like pretty handedly. And I believe I'm not just saying it when I say that this team is probably going to go 0-23. Last week I only managed to win 5 categories. It wasn't a good showing at all. It wasn't a good showing. Surprisingly, look, Vladdy, 3 RBI, 4 runs scored, 11 strikeouts, 189 average. But he gets some walks, but that's about all he does. Meaningless walks. Donovan, I just added. Alec Bohm has been okay, but he hasn't been, great yet. Pena's been okay. Honestly, he's been my best player. Funny enough. Melendez also been pretty good this season. He has 3 home runs, 8 RBI. Not so many strikeouts either. But yeah, Sal Frelick, George Springer. I have to add Michael Taylor. Eloy Jimenez is on the injured list. Velasquez been doing kind of good this season, but my offense is one of the worst in the league. My pitching, they haven't been so bad this season. Jack Flaherty yesterday, I thought he would do well against Oakland, but after the first 2 innings, they were down 6-0, and that, I guess it's gonna be like an up and down season for him. Logan Allen been okay. He had a good last start. Joe Ryan had a decent last start. Chris Bassett's been struggling. JP Fran's been doing okay. Getting some saves and some holds here and there from my guys, Munoz, Foley, Garcia, Mark Leiter Jr., Sewald, Romano on the IR. Cole Reagans, he's been a great pitcher. Dylan Cease, he had a better start than his last start. So, my pitching is good. As you can see, a lot of losses because my pitchers aren't that great of teams, but 3.4 ERA is not bad. 9.2 Ks per 9 inning, but they got a lot of walks. So yeah, my pitching isn't as bad as my offense, but we'll see what happens this week. I'm facing one of the better teams in the league. His offense is Bryce Harper, Machado. Bo Bichette's been kind of struggling, but he's still Bo Bichette, a threat. Juan Soto, incredible player. Acuna, incredible player. Spencer Steer, off to a hot start. Great player, great potential. De La Cruz, Rhys Hoskins. I'm already done. His pitchers, my pitchers could probably compete with his pitchers, but I'm not gonna win based off the amount of pitchers that he has compared to me. I don't know. It's gonna be a struggle to win this matchup, but we'll see how it goes. But keep this Angels in mind. You're gonna see why. Second league, I lost last week. My team is 1-1. My offense off to a slow start, I would say. They've been quite inconsistent to start the year. Acuna doesn't even have a home run yet, My infield has been doing all right, but my outfield hasn't been doing that great. My pitchers have been rather inconsistent, I would say. Bassett, Montgomery hasn't had a start yet. Kyle Harrison got beat up his last start against the Dodgers, of course. But Rodriguez and Cease have been great. Garrett Crochet, I added for some Sunday performance, but it didn't matter. I still kind of got beat pretty badly, but it's okay. 1-on-1 is not bad. 1-on-1 is not bad. Hopefully I can improve and go undefeated the rest of the way. But let's see who this guy has. Freddie Freeman, automatic. Altuve, been pretty good so far. Devers, a stud. Kyle Schwarber, home run master. Lane Thomas, stolen bases. Castillo, gonna throw a perfect game tonight against the Blue Jays. Cole Reagan's great player so far. Detmer's, great pitcher. So, might come down to some key additions in the pitching lineup. And I gotta try to get some offense going. I gotta try and get like Yoshida to start doing some things. Bo Bichette gotta start doing some things. Gunnar Henderson, like he's been good, but then he hasn't been that great. Look, 3 strikeouts yesterday. So he's gotta really do better. Another team where my offense is off to a slow start is Anatomy of a Champion. Great pitching so far. This is a rather strategic league because it's rotisserie and there's maximums. So I'm trying to just like pitch my pitchers on good matchups, strategically place my offense. So this, I'm not entirely concerned about being in 9th place right now. Like I feel like my offense, like look, Pete Alonso, he's gonna get a lot of home runs hopefully. Marcus Semien gonna get a lot of home runs. Like look, I only have 1 stolen base. I got it yesterday from Jeremy Pena, but like Semien can get home runs, Pena can get home runs, Michael Harris can get home runs, Michael Taylor can get home runs. You know what I mean? Stolen bases. But I also need home runs. But my ERA, my WHIP, I need some more holes and some saves. But my pitching is okay. My offense has to really pick it up a bit. But I'm confident in this team. I'm confident. Jordan Montgomery hasn't even started yet. So today I have Zach Eflin. Should be a good matchup against the A's. Hoping for a quality start and a win. And Charlie Morton, who can hopefully get me the same thing against the Mets. Hopefully, the Mets have a good lineup, but hopefully Morton can pitch and not get too lit up against them. Just get like a quality start at least. So I'm not too concerned, like I said, but we'll see how it goes. On to basketball. It's tied. No games today, but it's a pretty close matchup between me and my friend who I'm in the championship matchup with. I feel like toe-to-toe, player for player, my team is better, but he can make some key additions to try to sneak a win in, but we'll see. No games today, and tomorrow we have everyone playing. But his lineup quickly, been okay. Emmanuel quickly on the Raptors. Kispert, don't even know who he is, but he's been on a hot streak. Paul George, great player in the regular season. Abdia, Wizards player, gonna get his opportunities. Gobert, good player. Trey Murphy, kind of inconsistent but can go off. Jabari Smith, Halliburton, Michael Porter, Zubac, like he's got some solid guys, but when you look at my lineup and it's like De'Aaron Fox, Brunson, Booker, Sabonis, like Nurkic just for straight up rebounds, DiVincenzo threes and points, steals, Gafford block shots and rebounds. He had a rough game yesterday, but he was in foul trouble. Austin Reeves, all around. Delano Banton, I just picked him up, but he had what, 28 points, 21 points, couple of like games in a row, plus assists for Portland, getting his chances, doing quite well. Olynyk on the Raptors, been doing okay, doing rather well. Right now for tomorrow, I have like Johnson on the bench, Uber on the bench, but I probably will put them in a lineup for like Austin Reeves and maybe somebody else. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Nurkic will sit down, but I'm confident my team can take it home. I'm confident. So this is the second week of the championship, April 9th. Today is going to end on Sunday, April 14th. So let's see how that goes. Sunday, I love checking to see, everyone's playing. Might have some guys on like load management for the playoffs, but I'm confident. So hockey. On to hockey. I had a bye week in this league 2 weeks ago. So last week was my first matchup, and as you can see, I won 7-3. That was good. It was kind of tight to end or at the start, but I managed to pull off the 7-3 victory. 31 goals, 40 assists over the week. That's incredible. Decent goaltending. So now this week, 10-day championship matchup between Locust Swarm. Let's see who's on his team. Barkov, okay. Aho, pretty good. Who else? Kachuk is decent, of course. Guess he has some good players. Matt Duchene, Cousins, they can all score goals. His goalies, though, Gorgiev has been okay. Allmark, been good. Jonathan Quick, Markstrom, he could get some good goaltending. He could. My goaltenders, Samsonov, Allen, Anderson, these are like, they either could do very well or couldn't get lit up. But Anderson, he always gets a shutout. Look at him. He's always good. I'm frustrated because you're going to see in my other league, I'm facing Anderson, which is frustrating. This Toronto Maple Leafs league, where we keep 6 keepers every season, I'm in the championship matchup against the Seattle Kraken. I got past the Buffalo Sabres, and if you saw Saturday, I was down 7-6 with a few categories tied, but oh boy, I made some major additions. I added, I was losing in goaltending, but then I added he had Buffalo's goalie starting, Ukko Pekka, whatever that Buffalo goalie's name is, and they're facing Detroit. So I went and I picked up Alex Lyon from the Red Wings, and what a start he had. 1 goal against, 31 saves, and look, I was losing in saves percentage, I was losing in wins, and we were tied in losses, but bam, took the win on that. His Buffalo goaltender got the loss, so I won in losses, and I managed to get a tie in wins. So that was a great addition by me. And look, offense was, box shots, I won, hits, shots on goal, I managed to win, face-offs. My team is pretty good. So now I'm in a championship against the Seattle Kraken. 10-day matchup. We'll see how that goes. Let's see who's on his team. He gets a lot of face-offs. Look at this, Trocheck face-offs, massive face-offs. Matthews, oh my gosh, my boy's gonna haunt me this week. A lot of face-offs. Jimmy Benn, a lot of face-offs. Stevenson, Draisaitl, Rupin. So he's gonna get a lot of face-offs, but hopefully, I don't have that many face-offs as he does, but hopefully I can, obviously win in other categories. Face-off is just one category, and as you can see, like I said, I was desperate, so I had to drop a few players yesterday to get some other players, and so I added Alex Lyon and Ben Chiro, and got me the win. But now I only have 1 goalie, so I got to make some decisions on who to add this week to get some good goalie stats and some wins, not losses. Let's see who Seattle's goalies are. Nashville's goalie, gonna do pretty well. Usually Nashville's a good team. And Logan Thompson, and he has, I guess Aiden Hill's on the IR, but Logan Thompson, Vegas is a good team. Today he's facing Vancouver, so he can allow some goals against Vancouver. You never know, because Vancouver is a great offensive team. So we'll see. Hopefully I win. And for all the goals, I'm still holding my lead. For the most part, in this matchup, I've been up by 30 points. Yesterday, before I went to bed, he cut it down to 10 points. But I see now I woke up and I'm leading by around 18 points, so that's good. I have Austin Matthews playing today. He better score some goals. Bertuzzi, Michael Bunting, maybe score against his old team. You never know. And Samsonov in net. So hopefully, I can get some good amount of points today. Hopefully, the Samsonov can get the win at home against Pittsburgh. We'll see what happens. Let's see if my opponent, my friend from across the street, made any moves so far. Nothing yet. And today he has Nylander playing, Brock Besser playing, and Morgan Riley playing. So it could be an even day. You know, if my dreams come true, Samsonov gets a shutout. If not, then Bunting gets 1 goal. Maybe he'll get some blocked shots. I added Bertuzzi because he's trying to get that 20th goal. And trying to get the 20th goal, so maybe he'll get it tonight. Play with Austin Matthews. Maybe we'll get some blocked shots tonight, some hits, you know? Hopefully some points. Michael Bunting, he's like a pesky player. Maybe he'll get a blocked shot. And Austin Matthews, just get a hat trick, man. Just get 70 goals tonight, please. Let's do it. So we'll see. Okay, so those were my fantasy teams. So we're going to update them on Monday after we see how the championships go. I mean the NHL season going to still be going on, but we're going to see the NBA results, and then we're going to see more MLB results and see how that goes, and see where I'm at in the NHL matchups. So we'll be back on perhaps Thursday. We're going to see what happens with the Champions League matchups. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we're going to see some more NBA action, some Leafs action, Caps, hockey, etc. See how the Monte Carlo Masters is going to be going. This was a daily show, of course, as you know, but now I want to just let things add up a bit and talk about things for a longer period of time instead of just having to stress. But obviously, if I think of more segments, more things to do to pass the time, to make more episodes, but we'll see how it goes. So by the time this episode airs, I believe the solar eclipse is going to be like happening, but hopefully you didn't look at it without any proper protection on your eyes. Hopefully you can at least see it. I know in Toronto there's cloudy skies. Maybe I'll check it out on CNN or whatever. But hey. Anyways, thank you for watching as usual. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And always remember to have a great day.